Vanua, Ikiakalis Captains. Hello, I'm called Ab, and welcome to the live stream. Happy Friday. Okay, so I'm going to turn the intro music off and have some nice mellow background music playing. Welcome to this week's live stream. This week I wanted to talk a little bit more about a translation request that recently came in. This is a different one than the last live stream that I talked about. This is a different request. And I'm just going to switch over to my Word document here. So this is a request that came in earlier this week. And the request is the following. I'd like to know how to say and spell sun. So I did reply to this. Basically, what it comes down to is we don't really have a word for son or daughter. This is from my understanding of how the language works. So I found some words that are related to the concept of a son or a daughter. So we have words that have to do with children, like sasam. Sasam means children. That's a plural form. We also have huanuch, which means child. And we also have ha'aboch, which refers to a young person. So we have words that describe children, but you can see there's nothing there that relates to son or daughter. So what you would do is you would actually take one of these words and add it to a gender. So you can see here what I've written is for son, you could say huanux wisam. Huanux wisam. So huanuch means child. This S is a suffix. If I separate this and add a dash, you can see this is what indicates that it's a suffix. And this is short for hace. Hace means something along the lines of like by, of, about. It can also mean something like is. So huanuch, followed by this suffix, this S, which is short for hace, meaning by, of, about, or is. And then wisam means man, male. So it essentially means something like boy, child. Huanuch is child. This S kind of means something like is, and then wisam. So the literal translation would be like the boy, or the child is a boy, a child is a man, the child is a male. That's what huanuch wisam would actually mean in a literal sense. I tend to think of the language in the most literal sense possible. So that's kind of how I would describe it. I would say huanuch wisam means something like boy child. To refer to a daughter, you would take the same phrase, but you would change this. You would change wisam to kanam. Okay. Kanam. Kanam means woman or female. So hunuks wisam means something like girl, child. Something else to keep in mind is that these phrases are just descriptions. These single words here are descriptions. So sasam describes children, hunuch describes a child, abuk describes a child as well, a young person. Hunuks wisam describes a boy child. Hunuks ganam describes a girl child. So, since they're just descriptions, there's nothing indicating whose children are being referred to. So one way we can improve this is to add context. And I've come up with some sentences here that provide more context. So something that you might ask somebody is, Sas hunuks wisam nu ha. Sas hunuks wisam nu ha. That would mean, do you have a son? And this is a yes or no question. This is something that's important to remember. Whenever you see you hear a question that ends with ha, or sometimes it's just an a at the end. Wisam nu hwa, or wisam nu ha. The a or ha means yes or no. So the person is asking you if you have a son, and they're expecting a yes or no question in reply, or a yes or no answer in reply. So I have two different answers here. The first one is na hunuks wisam nu hun. Na hunuks wisam nu hun. That means yes, I have a son. So na means yes. Hunuks is a child. Wisam is a male. Nuch means have. This en or un means me. So altogether this means yes, I have a son. Or you could say kyun hunuks wisam nuch. Kyun hunuks wisam nuch. So Q means no. Kyun means something like not I, or I don't. Hunuks wisam is a boy child. And nuch means to have. So kyun hunuks wisam nuch means no, I don't have a son. You could also change this phrase to refer to a daughter. So I'll do that here. I'll copy and paste these sentences. Oops. So I'll copy these sentences. I'll paste them. And I'll change wisam to khanam. And I'll just to make things a little quicker, I'll just copy and paste khanam. So making this change, sas hunuks ganam nu ha. Sas hunux ganam nuha. This would mean, do you have a daughter? And I'll change the rest of these. And if you do have a daughter, you would say, Na hunux ganam nuhun. Na hunux ganam nuhun. Yes, I have a daughter. Or Q hunux ganam nuh. Q hunux ganam nuh. No, I don't have a daughter. And that's what I noted here afterwards. You would change wisam to ganam to refer to a daughter. So I didn't do that in my comment that I made on the post, just to kind of save a little bit of room. But since I'm doing this as a video, a live stream, I thought I would include that and show you the changes that would be made and how you would say that. If you're referring to your son or daughter, you could say Hunux wisaments. Hunux wisaments. That would mean that's my son, and they're away from here right now. So we have Hunux wisam, so boy child. This ENC, unts, this refers to possession, and it also gives location. So it means that it belongs to me, the person that's speaking, and it means that what we're talking about is not close to me as I'm speaking. So that's why I put in brackets away. So it's important to include location, because that's what this suffix means. This unts part means away. It would be different if your son was close to you. Then it would be, you would add a G and then it would be gins. Hunux wisam gins. That would mean that's my son close to me. Or if you add an A and an apostrophe, then unts, then it becomes a unts. And that would be Hunux wisam ma unts. And that would mean that's my son and he's close to you, the person that I'm speaking to. But it's kind of hard to predict where everybody's going to be, because when you're speaking islak yala, what you say has to match the situation. So it's easier just to say that something is away from you, rather than trying to predict where your son is going to be when you're talking about that person. So that's how you would refer to your son. And I'm just noticing I need to fix that. So you could say Hunux ganamants. Hunux ganamants. And that would mean that's my daughter who's also away. Or if you include the name of your son or daughter, you could say, for example, if your son's name is John, I just use that as a kind of a placeholder. It's a very common name, so John Hunux wisaments. John Hunux wisaments. That would mean John is my son. Or Mary Hunux ganamants. Mary Hunux ganamants. And that would mean Mary is my daughter. And I also forgot to include location. So again, since it ends with unts, that would mean that my son or my daughter is away while I'm speaking about them. And then I ended by saying you would change John or Mary to your son's or daughter's name. So again, I just used John and Mary as placeholders, just to give you an example. So I'm going to switch back to my webcam here. There's a little bit more clarification, and I just wanted to go through that to give you a better idea of how that works. And this also speaks to the differences between how English works and how Haisla works. We don't have a word for son or daughter in Haislakilla. You would basically say something like man-child or boy-child or girl-child. And that's one of the biggest differences between English and Haislakilla. And this is one of the things that makes it challenging going from one language to the other. So there's some more clarification on that. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that helps. And I'll end the live stream here. Until next time, remember, learning is its own reward. Exquiguelas. Wa.